Have you looked at the cost of college recently? Did you know tuition and other fees could quickly add up to 200,000 or even 400,000? Many of us understand that education is an often needed expense in our lives, but at the end of the day, the price of the American dream should not saddle us with years' worth of debt. As a student going to live on a college campus next year, I have done extensive research on the cost of higher education. But recently, I have researched how the price of education has increased over the years due to inflation. You will be shocked once you hear the source material and my findings. The price of a college education should be adjusted because many students are in large amounts of debt that take years to pay off. According to the Education Data Initiative, it is estimated that postgraduates should take 10 years to pay off their student loans, but because of high payments and lower income than in past years, many students will realistically take 20 years to pay off their student loans, while some could even take as much as 45 years to pay off student loans. The University Network even states national student loan debt is at $1.6 trillion with a T, surpassing both credit card and auto loan debt. Not to mention, students who do not graduate still have to pay off what they borrowed despite not getting paid well enough. Although some critics may say some graduates pay off their student loans within the 10-year goal, I implore them to research the circumstances of those individuals. Most graduates who pay off their student loans are those who quickly secure a job after graduation with high wages, or who come from a semi-wealthy family with money stored back for their children. Not only does student debt affect the graduate, but it also affects the economy. College tuition and expenses should be lower because it will give more students a chance to pursue higher education and future the growth of our nation. Historically, those in poverty have been unable to achieve greatness because that path to a livable and happy life has involved going to college or having come from a wealthy family that would have you inherit the funds stockpiled from many generations. The same principle applies today. College Promise claims as of 2021 a measly 12% of low income students earned a 4-year degree by the time they turned 25. If colleges at least had a sliding scale for the cost of attendance, I am sure the country could get that percentage increased considerably. If the cost of education were lower, more individuals would hold 4-year degrees in one or more fields. Those with degrees earn higher wages and pay more taxes with the current model of capitalism we use today. So the more education a population has, the more net gain we would get to experience in our lives through better communities. Although some could argue filing out the FAFSA for college should help a great deal with low income individuals pay for college, Pell Grant money does not cover as much as it should. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities even writes Pell has failed to keep up with the rising cost of college. College should not be as expensive today as it is because the household income has not risen nearly as much as the cost of many colleges throughout the country. To start, I will compare the cost of tuition at Harvard from 1960 to 2023. In 1960, Harvard's tuition cost a little under $1,000, but today it costs a shocking $47,000 to pay off the full tuition of Harvard. I understand that the $1,000 would not stay the same over time due to inflation, but even adjusting for inflation, the $1,000 would turn into a little over $10,000. The numbers are not adding up. Why should the cost of Harvard tuition be almost $38,000 more than the projected cost? Furthermore, the National Center for Education established a table on yearly tuition since 1963, and it shows that from 1970 to 2019, the annual cost to attend a public 4-year institution has increased by over 148%, while the average household income has increased 49%, according to the Commonwealth Times graph on household incomes following 1970. Despite critics claiming college tuition is at a fair price right now, many people should go to community colleges if they want to save money. I have to say that even though community colleges are cheaper, they also happen to have fewer degrees offered, and some students simply can't find their major at a cost effective college. So, pricey colleges should think about lowering their tuition regardless. Ultimately, colleges should adjust the current cost of tuition to reflect the needs of future generations. There are many individuals with 20 or more years of student debt that can be impossible to pay off, and there are many impoverished students who wish to further their education but cannot afford it. There are also many economic benefits to having an educated population, and currently the household income is substantially lower than the cost of higher education. So there are no downsides to lowering the cost of college. I now personally recommend, if you are as moved as I am, to call your local representatives or even call colleges near you to tell others how you feel about the future of college cost in our nation. I also appreciate your attention throughout the speech, and I must thank you profusely for your efforts. My name is Winter Wilson, and this was my persuasive speech for the communications class.